What's up guys, Brennan back here again today with another video on the channel. Today, this video is a little bit late because this happened only a few weeks, what am I saying weeks? It's only a few days ago. Today I'm reviewing the final episode of Arrow, Season 8 Episode 10, my voice cracked there, sorry. Season 8 Episode 10, the final episode of Arrow ever, which just came out, so today's Saturday, this is February 1st, so hopefully this will be uploaded on the same day, February 1st. I don't know what I'm doing. Yeah, so hopefully we'll be uploading that same day. The episode came out on the Tuesday, which was, let me check my phone what day that was again. On February 28th it came out. So that was 4 days ago. So, yeah, or 5 days. No, is it like 29, 30, 31? No, it's 4 days. As you can see, I can't count. But yeah, so it was a couple days late, but, you know, now is good, I guess, so yeah. But yeah, the final episode of Arrow ever. So, I've been watching Arrow for, not since it first came out. Like, I started watching when the season 1 finale aired. This is the thing, maybe they were rerunning it after it aired. I don't know. But I remember, like, watching the first episode I ever watched was season 1 finale, so that's not a good place to start. So, like, watching, I was confused. As a kid, I did not remember. But then I started watching season 2 on forward, so, oh yeah. So, and I really like the show. Like, I was a fan of Green Arrow. Wasn't like as big as like Batman or Superman or Spider-Man and stuff like that. But I did like him. I liked seeing him on stuff like the Justice League Unlimited cartoon, Batman Brave and the Bold and everything. Also, I like this character. I really like this character, and you know, Arrow actually did help me get into his character a lot more. I really think the character is like probably one of my favorite characters in DC. I really like the character. Mostly because Stephen Amell gave a really good performance as a character, which he helped lead this show because of that with his great performance. He's definitely my defending Green Arrow. I actually have an autograph from him up there, so he's a really great guy. If you ever see him like stuff online about him, he's a great dude. So he helped carry his entire show really, along with also the rest of the amazing cast for 8 seasons, and now it finally came to an end, which was definitely sad. Honestly, when I watched it, I'm like, this was sad because like this was like an end of an era. And like, yeah, it was definitely sad, yeah. So this finale, I think, really stuck the landing. And also, I'm going to spoilers, obviously, so spoilers in this review, so yeah. This finale, I think, definitely stuck the landing. So, and of course, you know, there's a lot of shows out there that don't really stick the landing a lot with their finales. And it's like, you have some shows like Star Trek Next Generation, which I heard had a great ending to the series. But then you have other shows like Lost, which I heard had a not-so-great series finale. So, and I think this show really stuck its landing, honestly. Like, it was a nice, happy ending for Arrow, which you don't get a lot of shows, because, like, some shows' finales might not be exactly happy because, you know, a lot of stuff might have happened in between the series, like, where, like, characters died, or a bunch of, like, world-shattering events for the series and stuff like that. But because this show was set in the Arrowverse, as they dubbed it, because Arrow was the first show of all these DCW shows, they could do some stuff that allowed it to be a happy ending. Because, of course, this is coming off after Crisis, which also, by the way, there are some Crisis on Infinite Earths videos I am going to be uploading, hopefully soon, so prepare for those ones, including a review at some points, which I have filmed, I just have to still edit it, so expect those soon. But, yeah. So, of course, Crisis, at the end of Crisis, Oliver died and became this cosmic entity called the Spectre, where he had to fight the Anti-Monitor, and he defeated him, and in doing so he helped like recreate the universe along with the help of the 7 Paragons, who helped like start it and stuff. But Oliver was the one to like fully like restart the universe and whatnot. And the Paragons were kind of just there to like, you know, how to describe it, like they were just there to what's the word I'm looking for? Like, kind of like guide their energy, their kind of like energy or focus on the new world being created or whatnot, to like help it get created about what they wanted exactly for that universe. I don't know, it's kind of weird to explain. Maybe like I'll put it in the video like later on what it exactly means. I don't exactly know how to explain it. Hey guys, Brennan here. So I'm editing the video right now, and I found the proper explanation about what the Paragons had to do when they're restarting the universe. So it says here that Spectre uses his powers to create a beam that can bring everything back, which the beam is what he shot up into the sky to help recreate the universe. But it also says he needs the Paragons to focus all their energies onto that beam, infusing it with the elements that are necessary to create the new multiverse. Hope, love, destiny, honor, courage, humanity, and truth. That's what all the 7 Paragons stood for. So they need them to like guide those energies onto the beam to help restart the multiverse and so forth. So yeah, that's a proper explanation. I just didn't know how to properly explain it in the video. So yeah, that's what it is. So yeah, back to the video. But Oliver restarted the universe, and doing so, like the Flash's world, like the main Earth that has Arrow, Flash, Legends, and Batwoman combined with Supergirl's Earth and Black Lightning's Earth. So that was pretty cool, which will lead to a new era of crossovers on the CW, all of them on the same Earth now. And of course, Oliver died. He didn't come back to life after he did that, so he's now dead. And episode 9 of Arrow, which was the first episode after Crisis, was just a backdoor pilot episode for the Arrow and the Canaries spinoff they're hopefully going to do if it gets picked up, because they only had 9 episodes planned for this last season, but they need just to fill out one more episode, make it 10, so they decided to make the backdoor pilot for spinoff. Like I said, this stuck the landing very much, so the whole premise of this episode was basically like mourning Oliver and his funeral and stuff, and another part also was that they were doing flashbacks, which was like a big part of Arrow's identity in the beginning. And the flashbacks basically were a way to include Stephen Amell in the episode, because of course he's dead, his character. So they did flashbacks to incorporate the character. Basically, the flashbacks were of a day way back, during Somerset back in season 1, something we never saw. It was when Oliver was just known as the Hood and stuff, when it was just him and John Diggle, and him going on this mission to stop this guy. I forget his name now, but he's like trafficking humans, and Oliver wants to kill him, but like, and Diggle basically tells him like, you don't have to kill everyone, like you can be better than that. You can like just let the law deal with him, which he doesn't want to do it first, but then afterwards when he catches up to the guy, he decides, you know what, I'll let him live, and like let the law deal with him, and he tells Diggle later on that you know, not everyone I guess doesn't have to die and stuff, which like was the start of Oliver starting to stop killing the criminals, which he did start doing going to season 2 after a couple other events and stuff. But yeah, that was a cool scene, seeing like Diggle help put him on the path to stop killing and stuff. There were a couple of people in Arrow season 1 that he didn't kill also, so you can definitely say now that this helped put him on that path to not kill these other people we saw he didn't kill in season 1. So that's pretty cool. And the main part of the episode, like I said, is Oliver's funeral, but also his son William gets kidnapped, and like Diggle assembles like all the teammates, like all the former teammates of Arrow and the current members of Team Arrow, to find his son. Like, this is our most important mission ever, and we have to do this for Oliver, get his son back safely and whatnot. And it's cool, and they of course do get him back, and you know, it's really cool. So like, and like every character you possibly could imagine is there. So of course Diggle's there, Renee, Dinah, Laurel, Roy. Hey, Felicity comes back because she was not in this season at all, but she's back for this final episode. Hey guys, me again. So I forgot to mention in the review that Roy got a robotic arm in this episode because he lost his arm back in episode 7 of this season, so he got a robotic arm now, which is very cool because that happened also in the comics as well. He lost an arm and got a robotic arm in the comics, so that's very cool that they finally gave him a robotic arm in the show. So it's been a long time coming. And really, you can say that he got his like comic accurate robotic arm, so yeah, that's pretty cool. Lila's there, Thea's there. They brought back Rory, who played Roy Regan, I think his name was. Yeah, Roy Regan, aka Ragman. He comes back, which I was super happy about because I like this character a lot. So I was sad when they got rid of his character in season 5, but he's back now. That's pretty cool. So and Curtis also comes back as well, Mr. Terrific. So, and all these people come back. It's pretty awesome. And also Sarah Lance, the White Canary, who's on Legends right now, goes to get Mia Smoke, Oliver's daughter from the future, and brings her to the present and whatnot. But she actually saves like the younger William, the younger version of her brother, which is pretty cool. She and him have a quick moment about her teaching him how to use a bow and stuff, which was a pretty cool moment, I think. Sarah's in the episode, and we also learned that a bunch of other characters are alive now because of Crisis, because in other episodes of the other shows like Supergirl, Batwoman, Black Lightning, we've been learning that in the wake of Crisis that a lot of stuff has changed, besides the fact that some of the Earths now collided together, like Flash and Supergirl's Earth now. Like, Supergirl's Earth's now on the same Earth as Flash and Green Arrow and the others. But a bunch of other things have changed, including Oliver managed to bring back a lot of those, like, the people he cared about who died. So he brought back his mother, Moira. He brought back his second sister, Emiko. He brought back his best friend, Tommy. He brought back Quentin Lance, who was Sarah and Laurel, Earth 1 Laurel's father, or who like was a father figure to him. They brought all the people back, and so that's pretty cool. They didn't bring back Earth 1 Laurel, which, to clarify that, Earth 1 Laurel died back in Season 4 of Arrow, but then they later on brought in a Earth 2 version of Laurel, who was a much better character than Earth 1 Laurel. Oh, like, she was much more interesting and compelling, which, not to diss the Earth 1 Laurel, but yeah, I think most fans are in agreement on that, the Earth 2 Laurel was better. But she's been around since Season 5 of Arrow, and she's been a really interesting character. And she goes and asks like Quentin Lance, her Earth 1 dad, or I guess now her main dad, because she's now part of the Prime Earth, that why would then Oliver not bring back Earth 1 Laurel, which because she asks like he brought back everyone he loved and everyone he would want to have alive, so why not her? Like why keep me? Which I don't know. They kind of really explain it in a way that Quentin tells her that you don't need. There's nothing that needs to be fixed about you and stuff like that. I don't know. I didn't fully understand it. Like I thought they mixed Earth 1 and Earth 2 Laurel together into like a new combination, but they didn't. So I don't really know why they didn't do that. So it's weird. I don't know. I can't really explain it. I really don't understand why. I mean, you could have had two Laurels, I guess. That could have worked. Like just. I mean, they've established on Supergirl there's refugees from other Earths that are now gone, coming onto the main Earth, so you could have said Earth 2 Laurel was a refugee and stuff. So, like, you could have done that, but whatever. And a bunch of other characters come back who weren't dead, but they also come back in this episode as well, like Anatoly, Nyssa, and Talia Al Ghul, which is the first time we've ever seen those two together on screen, which is pretty cool. And, of course, The Flash and Supergirl are in the final episode as well, which I really liked. I really liked they brought in those two for Oliver's funeral, especially Flash. That one makes a lot of sense because him and Oliver had a close friendship over the years, so it makes sense. And I like also brought in Supergirl because she also had. They didn't start out as friends, but Oliver sacrificed his life so that Barry and Kara would live in Crisis, and also she grew to have a lot of respect for Oliver. So I'm glad that she also came to his funeral as well. It's nice to see that they brought in some of the superheroes. There's a couple people I didn't know why they weren't at the funeral. I know the producers of the show said that there were a couple people they couldn't get for the final episode because of scheduling conflicts. Like, the actress who played Huntress, they wanted her in, but they couldn't get her because of scheduling problems. I was confused why someone like the Atom was not in the final episode as well, because he starred on Arrow, and, like, he was, like, friend of Oliver as well, like, so I don't know why. Like Sarah came to the funerals. I'm not sure why she didn't bring the Atom with her too. So I don't know. That was a bit of a weird one for me. Hey, they could have even brought in like who else? Like Katana. Like she's also been a close friend of Oliver as well. I don't know why they didn't bring her in, or her real name Tatsu. Like I don't know why they didn't bring in Tatsu. So I don't know why they didn't bring her in because she was in an episode of Arrow this season. So I'm not sure why they didn't make a arrangement to have her also be in the final episode. So that's kind of weird. They could have brought back Deathstroke. Well, he technically is in the episode because the episode starts off with showing a flashback to when Deathstroke killed Oliver's mother originally, but because it's a new universe, it shows the new version of this reality where Oliver managed to stop Deathstroke before he killed her, which actually was a scene they deleted way back in Season 2, so it's like an old scene that they just put in the episode, so he technically was in it, but not exactly. I mean, I didn't expect him to be at Oliver's funeral, because maybe it would have been like a little bit too awkward, because he did almost try to kill his mother and his sister. So, I mean, he is friend of Oliver, so maybe he could have been like come in like a far away spot, like looking off, like something like that, because he was like close friend of Oliver. He could have been like somewhere off, a little bit farther away, just like with like binoculars, maybe watching thing, like saying like "Good job, kid" or something. I don't know. It would have been cool to have Deathstroke probably in the episode because he was a big part of Arrow, so. I mean, yeah, but still, it was cool we saw him at least in the opening, so that was nice. And of course, Felicity meets her older version of her daughter, which is pretty cool. Emiko also meets Thea and Oliver's mother, which is pretty cool. I like that. We also learned that in this new reality, Tommy actually married Earth 1 Laurel, which they dated back in Season 1, but we found out they actually got married. So that's pretty cool. A lot of new changes they made to this timeline. And the episode ends basically like where, they've shut down the Arrow Cave now. Like, and they're all moving on, like, Renee is going to start running for mayor now. or like Quinn's gonna endorse him to become the next mayor, which happens in the future, which we saw in like flash forwards in last season. Dinah's moving to Metropolis, well she is, but like she didn't make it to Metropolis because she revealed in the backdoor pilot episode for Arrow and the Canaries that right after Oliver's funeral she gets zapped to the future and doesn't know why she's there. So there's that. And Diggle and his wife Lila are also moving to Metropolis as well because Lila got relocated to an Argus facility in Metropolis. And when that happens, which leads to a really cool big scene where a meteor crash lands, like just before Diggle leaves, he gets in his car, a meteor crash lands, he goes to it, finds a metal box, which he opens it, a green light emanates from it, which is very obviously a Green Lantern ring, which if you don't know, for years, there's been a fan theory that, or for what a lot of fans wanted Diggle to become the Green Lantern because it would make a lot of sense because he has a lot of military experience and whatnot. His name's John. So there's like a lot of fans that want him to become the Green Lantern over the years. In fact, even in the Elseworlds crossover from last year, they said when the 90s Flash showed up, he recognized John Diggle and said, "You're not wearing your ring." The thing is something different here, so establishing that he's a version of Green Lantern on 90s Flash's Earth. And even in Arrow Season 7, like last season, they introduced his John Diggle's stepfather, who was a general in the army, and his last name is Stewart, so they retroactively made John Diggle's other last name Stewart, so John Stewart, like the Green Lantern. So they were basically teasing a lot by saying, "Yeah, we know you want to be Green Lantern, but guess what? Now he's Green Lantern," which they weren't allowed to show Green Lantern ring because of like rules with Warner Bros. And DC, I think because of weird stuff behind the scenes, and they're developing their own Green Lantern show. So it's very obvious he becomes a Green Lantern at the end of this. I don't know if he'll be in the Green Lantern show. I hope he is. Like they have said they're doing 2 Green Lanterns in that Green Lantern show for HBO Max. Like it's probably gonna be Hal Jordan and John Stewart. So I think it would make a lot of sense to put Diggle in that show. Like it would feel like a waste if you don't put him in that show. Honestly, I'll be disappointed if he's not in that show as Green Lantern. That will suck. Mia goes back to the future and has now a device that Sarah gave her, which allows her to kind of like just jump to back to the future and back to the past. So that will explain how, if this her show gets picked up, it will explain how she comes and joins the other heroes for the future crossovers next year. And there's also, it cuts to a scene in the future which they're replaying a scene from last season where the Monitor takes Felicity to where Oliver is now after he died in Crisis. So he keeps his promise after all these years and whatnot. Because the whole thing is that once their kids no longer need them, Felicity will go join Oliver. So the Monitor takes Felicity to where Oliver is, which is like in Paradise, which is basically heaven or Paradise kind of place. So, and she now lives out the rest of her life with Oliver there, which is very nice. And the show ends. Also, the Monitor's alive as well. Like he died in Crisis, but I guess Oliver brought him back as well. It'd be nice. So yeah, there's that. Yeah, that was the final episode of Arrow. Honestly, it's probably, I think, I probably give it a 9, I think. If I had to nitpick, like really nitpick at this, it would have been nice to see the Green Lantern ring in the box, because like there was just a green light in that box that was glowing when he opened it. But that's fine. At least they basically imply that he will become a Green Lantern, so that's nice. I would have liked to see some other characters there, you know, but they weren't there. That's fine too. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I have to like really nitpick, honestly. There's a great fight sequence that Oliver has in the flashback sequence. It's their longest fight sequence apparently ever on Arrow. That's what they said, which it looked pretty good. It was very well done. What else? They also made a statue. They made a statue in the final episode to memorialize Oliver the Green Arrow, like with a tagline saying "He saved this city," which is like a play on words of his catchphrase "You failed this city." So, which is pretty cool. Yeah, I don't know. I would really nitpick if I were to find some problem with this episode. Maybe I would give it a 10, honestly. I think it's honestly a very perfect ending, I think, for this show. Also, actually, it was also cool that they, for Oliver's last, like, full, like, sequence, like, scenes in the episode, well, he doesn't have, like, a scene at the end of the episode, but, like, for, like, majority of the episode, we see the Oliver back from Season 1 in the original costume, which is nice. That's pretty cool having, like, the original Oliver from the first season in the original costume back for the final episode. That's pretty cool. So, that's nice. Yeah, I actually might have to give it a 10, I think, perfect score. Because I honestly think this sticks the landing for Arrow. Arrow's had up and downs over the years. Like Season 4 was not a great season. Like, everyone knows that. They've done some things that weren't great choices, but they've done a lot of stuff that was handled very well. A lot of great stories, great characters, great action. You know, this landing sticks to the landing with this ending. Like, many shows can't have happy endings, but because this is the Arrowverse and anything can happen, they were able to bring back all these beloved characters who died and bring them back to life now, and they're now living happily ever after. I mean, Oliver's dead, so that sucks, but still, like, all these characters are now living happy lives now because of his sacrifice. So, you know, many shows can't have happy ending, you know, because of stuff like that. Like The Walking Dead, like, whenever that show ends, like, whenever it ends, like, that won't be an exact happy ending because, like, whatever characters are left on that final episode, like, they'll have all these other characters that have died over the years that meant so much to them. So it won't be an exact happy ending because something like that. But this show can have had a happy ending because of all these characters they were able to bring back to life, which is pretty cool. I like that. So I don't know. It's six to landing. It ends Oliver's storyline after 8 years very well. They have a great memorial for him in the episode. They bring back a lot of beloved characters. They also set up things to come, like Diggle's Green Lantern, a lot of good stuff. They also set up that him and Lila could be on the Superman show coming next year. Like, they do a lot of good stuff in this final episode, I think. It sticks to the landing, I think. It really sticks to the landing. It's a nice ending. And I'm gonna miss Arrow. It was a good show. Like every show has their ups and downs, but it was a solid show, I think, from beginning to end. It was a really good show. I'm gonna miss seeing it every week on Tuesday, but, you know, I saw all their shows, like Flash, Legends, Supergirl, so I have all their shows, but of course we won't ever forget the show that started all, Arrow. But yeah, thank you all for watching. Tell me in the comment section down below if you saw a final episode of Arrow, and if you did, what did you think of it? Who's your favorite character on Arrow? What was your favorite season of Arrow? Tell me all that in the comment section down below, and stay tuned for more videos coming soon to the channel, and I'll catch you guys later. Bye.